Debate over science could determine whether a Georgia man found guilty of killing his baby son will get a new trial.
A hearing is underway in Gwinnett County to take a closer look at doctor's diagnosis that was used to put him away 2 decades ago. Atlanta News First investigator Andy Parati has covered the man's fight for freedom for more than a year. So Andy, this hearing looks at the flaws of when there's a diagnosis with shaken baby syndrome.
Yeah, that's right. That diagnosis is what helped put Daniel Smith in prison in 2003. Last year, the district attorney offered him a plea deal that would have set him free. But Smith rejected it, refusing to admit guilt. Latasha Pyatt walks into a Gwinnett County courthouse to listen to expert testimony that could one day get her fiancé, Daniel Smith, out of prison.
They are truly a godsend. I mean, for them to get up there, take their time out, to come fly out here to Atlanta from all over the world, just saying, no, this is something I have to do. I can't sit on this knowing this man has been in prison for 22 years.
The hearing's purpose, the persuaded judge that testimony from these medical experts constitutes new evidence, and Danielle should be given a new trial to show a doctor's medical diagnosis used to convict him more than 20 years ago was wrong.
I cannot say that shaking couldn't cause these injuries. I also think it's inappropriate for somebody to conclude that they can.
In 2003, a Gwinnett County jury convicted Danielle of murdering his 2-month-old son, Chandler. The state's medical examiner ruled the boy's death a homicide caused by blunt force trauma. Prosecutors told the jury it was a shaken baby case.
We're the experts in the brain, not the child abuse pediatrician. We're the ones.
Dr. Saeed Ghatan is a pediatric neurosurgeon at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. After reviewing the child's medical records, he believes Chandler didn't die from shaking, but from trauma during birth.
And you see stroke in this case. And if you see stroke and you see any hemorrhage, then you can see retinal hemorrhage. This looks nothing like somebody who was abused. It looks like somebody who had hypoxic ischemic brain damage.
And this is me holding Chandler with the bottle.
Despite the testimony, Chandler's mother, Marcia Brandon, still believes her former boyfriend is guilty, telling Atlanta News First investigates their son was healthy.
Those things didn't just happen, and those weren't natural causes. But what I am sure of is that Chandler died at the hands of Danielle Smith.
Last year, the district attorney's office offered Daniel a plea deal that would have set him free. He declined. Mark Loudon Brown is Danielle's attorney.
And this plea offer was a ticket out of jail, a ticket out of prison, a ticket home. He said, no, I'm not going to admit to doing something I didn't do. I didn't kill my child.
His client now putting his fate in the hands of a judge, hoping to prove his innocence.
The evidence that's being brought before us today was never there 22 years ago. So my message to the judge would be just to be able to grant him a new trial.
Now, the hearing isn't over yet. Next week, the district attorney's office is expected to call its own witnesses to attempt to discount the doctors who testified on Daniel Smith's behalf. The judge is expected to make his decision on whether to grant a new trial afterwards, but he is under no timeline to make that decision. Andy Parati, Atlanta News First, investigates.